First contact fallacy. The Keldari Dominion had conquered 17 star systems in less than a decade. Their strategy never varied. Arrive with overwhelming force, establish orbital superiority, and demand immediate surrender. Most civilizations capitulated within hours. The few that resisted were made examples of, their cities reduced to glass, their populations enslaved, their resources harvested. Fleet Commander Vexura stood on the command deck of the Dominion flagship Inevitable Conquest, mandibles clicking in anticipation as the armada of 300 warships decelerated from warp. The blue-green world of Earth grew larger on the main display, appearing deceptively peaceful against the void of space. Preliminary scans complete, Commander reported his second, Kivara. Minimal orbital infrastructure detected. No weapons platforms. No defensive fleet. Only primitive satellites and a single small station. Vexura's compound eyes reflected the image of Earth. As expected, the intelligence reports were correct. These humans never developed proper space warfare capabilities. His exoskeletal plates shifted in what passed for amusement among the Keldari. They've been too busy fighting each other. The intelligence briefings had been thorough. Earth had achieved space travel centuries ago, but had never established significant colonies beyond their moon and Mars. Their weapons technology remained chemical and nuclear, primitive by galactic standards. Their political structure was fragmented, with hundreds of nation-states instead of a unified planetary government. In short, they were ripe for conquest. Move the fleet into standard invasion formation, Vexura ordered. Prepare the ultimatum broadcast. As the Dominion warships arranged themselves in a hemisphere pattern over Earth's northern continents, something unusual happened. Nothing. No panicked transmissions from planetary governments. No emergency broadcasts. No military responses. Not even curious messages from civilians who spotted the massive alien fleet. Absolute silence. Are they blind? Vexura questioned. Scan again. They must have detection capabilities. Kivara adjusted the sensor arrays. Confirmed, Commander. Their primitive satellites have visual on our fleet. Their ground-based tracking systems are monitoring us. They know we're here. Yet they do nothing. Vexura's mandibles clicked rapidly. A sign of confusion. Activate the translator and broadcast the ultimatum on all frequencies. The message was simple. Surrender or be annihilated. It went out in every human language the Dominion had cataloged. Again, silence. Send scout vessels to each major population center, Vexura ordered. Perhaps a closer approach will prompt them to acknowledge our presence. 20 sleek scout ships detached from the main fleet, diving toward Earth's atmosphere. As they reached the upper layers, something unexpected happened. Small objects, barely visible on sensors, rose to intercept them. Commander, the humans have launched projectiles, reported the tactical officer. Vexura watched with disinterest. Primitive missiles. Our shields will. Before he could finish, the scout ships began disappearing from tactical displays. Not exploding. Not damaged. Simply gone. Explain, Vexura demanded. The tactical officer worked frantically at his station. Unknown weapon signature. The scouts. They're just gone. Even more disturbing, Earth continued its silence. No victory celebrations. No threats. No demands. Launch a full squadron, Vexura ordered. Weapons hot. 100 fighter craft poured from the Dominion warships, streaking toward Earth with weapons primed. They met the same fate. Small objects rose from Earth, impossibly fast, and the fighters simply ceased to exist. For the first time in his long military career, Vexura felt the cold grip of uncertainty. The intelligence reports were clearly wrong. Either human technology was vastly more advanced than believed, or his thoughts were interrupted by the communications officer. Commander, we're receiving a transmission. Text only. From Earth. Display it, Vexura ordered. The message appeared on the main screen, simple and direct. Tow, Caldari Dominion Fleet. FROM Earth Defense Authority. Sub-DGCT. Your incursion. Withdraw immediately. We have no interest in conflict. This is your only warning. Vexura's mandibles clicked rapidly in agitation. They dare to threaten the Dominion. Prepare the main weapons array. Target their largest city clusters. Commander Kivera cautioned, perhaps we should reassess. Their defensive capabilities appear to exceed our intelligence reports. They eliminated scouts and fighters. Vexura dismissed. Our capital ships are another matter entirely. Charge the planet killer cannons. As energy built in the massive weapons arrays of the Dominion warships, Earth remained silent. No pleas for mercy. No desperate counterattacks. Just the same eerie calm. Then, a single object rose from Earth's northern hemisphere. Sensors identified it as a small vessel, barely larger than a dropship, unarmed and unshielded. A surrender party, Vexura concluded with satisfaction. They've come to their senses. The small human vessel approached the Dominion flagship, maintaining a steady course. It requested permission to dock. Allow it, Vexura ordered. Prepare a reception team. Heavy security. The human vessel docked with clinical precision. When the airlocks opened, a single figure emerged. Humanoid, bipedal, with no visible weapons or armor. Just simple clothing and a small device in one hand. Vexura descended from the command deck to meet this human diplomat personally, surrounded by a dozen armed guards. As he approached, he was struck by how frail the creature appeared, soft-skinned, without natural armor or claws. I am Fleet Commander Vexura of the Caldari Dominion, he announced through his translator. Who stands before me? The human looked up, expression unnervingly calm. My name is Dr. Eleanor Chen, Earth Defense Authority. Her voice was steady, betraying no fear. I've come to explain why you should leave our system immediately. Vexura's mandibles clicked in amusement. You are in no position to make demands. Your planet stands at the precipice of destruction. Dr. Chen nodded. That's a common misconception. May I? She gestured with the device in her hand. Curious, Vexura signaled his guards to allow it. The human activated the device, which projected a holographic display showing Earth and the surrounding space. What you've encountered so far is merely our automated perimeter defense, Dr. Chen explained. We call them Guardians, microscale defensive drones that dismantle threats at the molecular level. We deploy approximately 50,000 of them to intercept your scouts. The hologram zoomed in, showing tiny machines smaller than a grain of sand. Impossible, Vexura declared. Such technology is beyond. We took a different evolutionary path than most spacefaring species, Dr. Chen continued as if he hadn't spoken. While others developed faster than light travel and energy weapons, we focused inward. Nanotechnology, quantum computing, consciousness transfer, different priorities. The hologram shifted to show Earth's surface, revealing structures that had been invisible to Dominion sensors, vast underground complexes, orbital mirrors disguised as debris, and networks of something the sensors couldn't even identify. We have no interest in conquest or expansion, Dr. Chen stated. We simply wish to be left alone. That's why we've maintained a deliberately minimal presence in space. It avoids misunderstandings. Vexura's instincts screamed danger, but his pride wouldn't allow retreat. Pretty illusions won't save your world. The Dominion. Dr. Chen sighed. I was authorized to offer a demonstration if necessary. She touched her device again. Across the vast Dominion fleet, one ship, a mid-sized cruiser near the formation's edge, simply disintegrated. Not an explosion, not destruction. The vessel separated into its component atoms, which dispersed into space like dust in the wind. That was the relentless victory, Dr. Chen noted. Crew complement of 4,219. Don't worry, we extracted the crew before disassembly. They're currently in stasis bubbles. We can return them unharmed when you depart. For the first time in the history of the Keldari Dominion, a fleet commander found himself speechless. "We've studied your people," Dr. Chen continued. "Your philosophy of strength and dominance. Your 17 conquered systems. The eradication of the proximal and Tyrillian civilizations. We understand why diplomacy alone wouldn't convince you." Vexura found his voice. What are you?" Dr. Chen's expression softened slightly. "Just humans. We're not inherently better or worse than you. We simply had different pressures shaping our development. Our world forced us to innovate in ways yours didn't." She stepped closer, her small stature making the gesture almost absurd. This tiny, soft creature addressing the armored commander of a conquest fleet. "Here's what happens next, Commander. You will withdraw your fleet. You will reclassify Earth as a protected zone. You will inform your leaders that conquest here is impossible. In return, we'll continue our policy of non-interference in galactic affairs. And if we refuse," Vexura managed, his voice uncharacteristically quiet. Dr. Chen's expression remained neutral. "Then I return to Earth alone, and you never leave this system." She deactivated her device. "You have 1 hour to decide." As she turned to leave, Vexura found himself facing a revelation which shattered the Dominion's worldview. Sometimes, the most dangerous predators are the ones that don't need to show their teeth. The awakening. The hour passed in tense silence aboard the Dominion flagship. Vexura had retreated to the war room with his senior staff, their exoskeletons clicking nervously as they debated their options. "It must be a bluff," insisted Grasnar, the weapons officer. "No species could develop such technology without our intelligence networks detecting it." "Then explain the disintegration of the Relentless Victory," countered Kavera. "Explain how their defensive systems neutralized our scouts without detection." Vexura's compound eyes fixed on the tactical display, showing Earth rotating peacefully below them. "We've conquered worlds with far more visible defenses. Planet-wide shield networks, orbital fortress stations, massive fleet deployments. Yet this world with its minimal presence confounds us." "Perhaps," suggested the science officer, "that is precisely their strategy. The most dangerous predator is the one you don't see." As the debate continued, a new transmission arrived from Earth, text only. "As before, your hour is nearly complete. Dr. Chen is prepared to return for your decision. Alternatively, if you require more convincing, we offer a tour of our facilities to you personally. Commander Vexura." A gesture of transparency. The war room erupted in protests. "A trap. They'll capture or kill you. The Dominion cannot risk its fleet commander." Vexura silenced them with a gesture. Something in this invitation resonated with him, a warrior's curiosity. If these humans possessed technology that could destroy his fleet, they could have done so already. Why offer a tour? "I will go," he announced. "Alone." The protests renewed, but his decision was final. 20 minutes later, Vexura found himself aboard a small Earth shuttle piloted by Dr. Chen herself, descending through the atmosphere toward the North American continent. "I appreciate your courage, Commander," she said as clouds parted around them. "Few would venture into unknown territory this way. If you intended to kill me, you could have done so already," Vexura replied pragmatically. "I wish to understand what we face." The shuttle banked over a mountain range, then descended toward what appeared to be an ordinary forest. As they approached, a section of ground slid open, revealing a landing platform that stretched into the mountain itself. "Welcome to Sanctuary 7, Dr. Chen said as they touched down, "one of our primary research and defense facilities." Inside, Vexura found himself in a vast complex that defied his understanding of human capabilities. Transparent walls showed laboratories where humans worked alongside machines that seemed to shift and change as they operated. In one chamber, objects materialized and vanished without apparent technology. In another, humans stood in transparent pods, their consciousness visibly transferring between bodies. 300 years ago, Dr. Chen explained as they walked, humanity faced extinction. climate collapse, resource depletion, nuclear tensions. Instead of looking outward to the stars for salvation, we turned inward. They passed a chamber where humans interacted with virtual environments, so realistic that Vexura couldn't distinguish them from reality. We mastered our own biology first, she continued. Disease elimination, radical life extension, mental enhancement. Then came material science breakthroughs. Programmable matter, quantum entangled networks, consciousness-responsive environments. Vexura absorbed this information with growing unease. Yet you maintain the appearance of a primitive species. Your orbital presence is minimal. Your communications are basic. Dr. Chen nodded. A deliberate choice. Early in our development, we detected transmissions from other civilizations, including the Keldari. We observed conquest after conquest. Species that displayed their advancements openly became targets. They entered a vast chamber where humans worked at stations surrounding a massive spherical structure that pulsed with energy. This, Dr. Chen gestured, is our planetary defense hub. From here, we can disassemble any object in our solar system down to its component atoms, or protect Earth from any imaginable threat, from asteroids to invasion fleets. Such power, Vexura murmured. Why not use it for expansion, for conquest? Dr. Chen's expression showed genuine surprise. Why would we? Earth provides everything we need. Through virtual reality and consciousness transfer, a single human can experience 1,000 lifetimes of adventure without ever leaving home. Our population stabilized centuries ago. We have no resource pressures, no territorial imperatives. They continued to a viewing platform overlooking an enormous chamber where what appeared to be stars burned in controlled environments. Microsuns, Dr. Chen explained. Each provides energy equivalent to a fusion reactor, but with zero radiation risk. We have 500 throughout Earth. Vexura's mandibles twitched in disbelief. Your species possesses this technology, yet you live in wooden dwellings. You travel in combustion vehicles. You maintain the facade of primitive development. Dr. Chen smiled. Many humans do choose simpler lifestyles. Others live primarily in virtual spaces or in our orbital habitats. Some transfer their consciousness to synthetic bodies for space exploration. We embrace diversity of experience. She led him to a final chamber, smaller, more intimate, with a simple table and 2 chairs. I brought you here to understand something crucial about humanity, Commander. We aren't warriors by nature. We don't seek conflict, but our history taught us to prepare for worst-case scenarios. She activated a display showing the complete specs of the Dominion flagship, details that should have been impossible for humans to know. We could have disassembled your entire fleet the moment it arrived. Instead, we invited conversation. This is the true strength of humanity. Not our technology, but our capacity to choose restraint when we hold overwhelming power. Vexura sat in silence, processing what he had witnessed. The Keldari Dominion had built its empire on a simple principle: the strong conquer the weak. Yet here was a species that had achieved power beyond imagination and chosen isolation instead of dominance. What do you propose? He finally asked. A simple arrangement, Dr. Chen replied. The Keldari Dominion acknowledges Earth and its solar system as sovereign, protected territory. In exchange, we continue our policy of non-interference in galactic affairs. We don't want your conquered worlds or resources. We simply wish to be left in peace. And if I refuse, if I order my fleet to attack despite what I've seen? Dr. Chen's expression showed something new, a flash of steel beneath the calm exterior. Then we would defend ourselves with absolute efficiency, Commander. Your fleet would cease to exist. The Dominion would send another, and another. Eventually, we would be forced to take more proactive measures to ensure our safety. The implication hung in the air between them. I understand, Vexura said quietly. For the first time in his military career, he knew with absolute certainty that he had encountered a power that could not be conquered. As they returned to the shuttle, Dr. Chen offered one final observation. Your species values strength, Commander. Consider this. Sometimes the greatest strength lies in knowing when not to fight. Hours later, as the Dominion fleet prepared for departure, Vexura stood on his command deck, watching Earth recede on the view screen. He had ordered a full withdrawal, classifying the Sol system as a restricted zone. His report to the Dominion Council would be carefully worded, explaining not that Earth was unconquerable, but that it offered nothing of value. Better to let them believe Earth worthless than to admit the Dominion had found its match. As the last ships entered warp, Vexura reflected on what he had learned. The Caldari had spent millennia building an empire based on visible strength, massive ships, powerful weapons, intimidating presence. Yet Earth had revealed a different kind of power, invisible, patient, and absolute. Perhaps, he thought as stars streaked past, the humans had taught the Dominion its most valuable lesson. True power doesn't need to be displayed to be effective. On Earth, Dr. Chen watched the Caldari fleet depart from the Sanctuary 7 observation deck. Beside her stood a colleague, Admiral Reyes. "They'll be back eventually," Reyes noted. "If not the Caldari, then others." Dr. Chen nodded. "Of course. But each encounter teaches us more about the galaxy. Each species adds to our understanding. And our Sentinel program continues as planned," she replied. "Silent observation, knowledge gathering, preparation without provocation." As the last Dominion ship vanished from their sensors, Earth continued its quiet vigil, a silent sentinel in a dangerous galaxy, powerful beyond measure yet humble enough to appear weak, wise enough to understand that sometimes the greatest victories are the battles never fought.